Ah, yeah. Now we are looking at Act 1, Scene 5 today, which is the last one in Act 1. And this is basically the party scene. And this is where we have Romeo and Juliet finally meet. So a really, really important point in the play. And here we go. So it starts off with Capulet in charge of the party. He's basically trying to make it as perfect as possible, and it is a masked ball as well. It's a masquerade, so they're all wearing masks.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, like a rich jewel in Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove, trooping with crows. As yonder lady over her fellow shows. The measure's done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear at sight, for I never saw true beauty until this night.
This by his voice should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What dares the slave come hither covered with an antic face, to flayer and scorn at our solemnity? Now by the stock and honour of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin.
Why, how now, kinsman? Wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that is hither come in spite, to scorn at our solemnity this night.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, the villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle coz. Let him alone. A bear's like a portly gentleman. And to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all this town here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore, be patient, take no note of him. It is my will, the which if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns, an ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest, I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What good man, boy? I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here, or you? Go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul, you'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go to, go to. You are a saucy boy. Is it so indeed? This trick may chance to scathe you, I know what. You must contrary me. Marry, 'tis time. Well said, my heart. You are a prince cox. Go, be quiet, or more light, more light. For shame. I'll make you quiet. What? Cheerly, my hearts!
Patience, perforce with wilful choler meeting, makes my flesh tremble in their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, not seeming sweet, convert to bitterest gall.
Romeo has finally seen her, and obviously she's wearing a mask. Some of her face will be covered, but he's still basically love at first sight. And he asks a serving man, who is the lady that doth enrich the hand of yonder knight? And he says, I know not, sir. And then he goes on this kind of little dream world soliloquy that we're kind of seeing inside of Romeo's mind, and how he is as a character. The idea that people have one kind of major thing that holds them back in these kind of plays. And when we looked at Macbeth, we talked about maybe it was that he was too ambitious or he was insecure. With Romeo, it is summed up in one word, and it is impulsive. Romeo is just impulsive. He doesn't think about things. I want you to write that down, all right? He is impulsive. That is his character flaw. None of this play would have happened. He would not end up dying. Neither would Juliet if he was not so impulsive. Okay? It's all about his impulsion. And obviously Juliet does have a part to play in that, but Romeo is kind of the furnace of that kind of sequence of events, basically. So he says, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. Okay. Now, she is teaching the torches how to burn bright. She is teaching fire how to be brighter, how to be hotter, how to be more beautiful. He's saying that Juliet is teaching nature, which, if we think about context, is quite a big statement. It's almost as if he's saying you are better than what God created. Yeah, it's very, very hyperbolic. It's very kind of emotive language being used, and we're seeing he's placing her above anything, including what it seems, including God. She hangs upon the cheek of night as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Now, a bit of a questionable quote here, but an Ethiop, as in someone from Ethiopia, and he says, she's as out of place as a rich jewel, meaning a precious stone, in an Ethiop's ear. We kind of look at that now and go, okay, a bit on the edge there, but that's how he chose to do it, and kind of we understand what he means, even if we don't agree with the way it's been used. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. Now then, we see some natural imagery in terms of animals that we've seen prior. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows. Yeah, so again, we talked about crows before. Negative, dark, dank, dirty, filth, evil, that kind of stuff, compared to the snowy dove, which is a symbol of peace, as I'm sure you'll know. Then he moves on to, I'll watch her place of stand, so I'll watch where she goes, and touching hers make blessed my rude hand, that even my hand seems rude compared to her. Yeah, she's so beautiful that her hand would bless me just by touching. Yeah. Now, in this time, obviously, religion, huge, and something like Trump, isn't it? Huge part of people's lives, and you'll have heard kind of people kissing the Pope's hand and that kind of stuff, just to have that physical connection with something that is seen as so blessed that it would make you blessed yourself. And that's what he's kind of using, that kind of religious imagery now. Really key quote now. Did my heart love till now, forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night. Now, we're seeing a bit of irony here, because, hang on, you were in love with Rosaline a couple of hours ago, probably minutes, and now you're saying, wow, did my heart ever love until now? What I never felt was love until I've seen you. It's kind of like when people have kids, often they kind of say, I didn't know what love was until I had children. There's kind of a different level that it takes it to that you weren't really aware of before. He also says forswear its sight, so it's almost like he literally doesn't believe his eyes. No. Then we get a bit of a conflict coming in. Tybalt, obviously, this is a Capulet party, is at the party, and his uncle, Lord Capulet, is putting it on, and he hears the voice, and he knows straight away that's a Montague. He knows so kind of clearly that is someone who should not be here. He's very defensive, very aggressive, he's very protective as well, as we saw in the first scene. And he immediately says to one of the pages, one of the servants, one of the helpers, to fetch his rapier, his sword. And straight away he says, I will strike him dead and I hold not a sin. He starts charging across the party, ready to do it. That's when Lord Capulet steps in. Whoa, what's going on? You saw me stepping in front of Miss Toussaint. This is where we find out that actually Romeo has got a pretty good reputation across the city. Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. Yeah? That he is not someone who is here to cause trouble in the eyes of Lord Capulet. And to be fair, he isn't. He's going to, because he doesn't realise what he's doing, because he's impulsive, but he doesn't mean to cause it, Romeo. Now, Tybalt isn't very happy with this, and he says, I will not endure him. I'm not going to put up with him being here. What are you talking about? I'm not going to put up with this. And this is when Capulet shows his kind of patriarchal foot-stomping side, that he is boss, and you better damn believe it. He says, I'll not endure him, and he says, he shall be endured. One of the kind of best lines that people love from this play is this one. You are a saucy boy. And I'm sure in the clip, when you saw us doing that, you may have laughed. Or when you first read it, you may have laughed and gone, oh, what? I don't get that. Why is he calling me saucy? Saucy isn't like spicy, hot-headed. Yeah. So he says, "Oh, you are a saucy boy." He's not saying you're a saucy man, Abana. You're a saucy boy. Yeah, he's really mitigating Tybalt's power there. Tybalt then says, as he leaves, "I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitterest gall." So he's saying that yes, I'm gonna hold back, but this thing that seems all lovely now is going to come out pretty bad. This is going to turn into something really horrible. Okay, so we've got a bit of foreshadowing there, and also some conflict between Tybalt and Romeo. Then we get Romeo and Juliet actually talking for the first time, and it looks a little bit like this.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand, to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong with your hand too much, which manly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands, and that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim lips, that they must use in prayer.
Oh then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, they grow up for prayer's sake.
Then move not, for my prayers effect I take. Thus from my lips, by thine, my sin is purged.
Ooh, then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from my lips, O trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book.
That was an experience, wasn't it? You'll never forget that. Now, Romeo and Juliet, their first meet, obviously really, really important, so, a lot of notes need to be taken here. He says, "my unworthiest hand," that superlative, unworthiest. Yeah? That there is nothing more unworthy than him compared to her. That is how beautiful and amazing and gracious and incredible she is. This holy shrine, the gentle sin is this. Now, throughout this, we get kind of a semantic field of religion and religious imagery and almost an extended metaphor of religion used here. So he calls her a holy shrine, and he says that his lips are two blushing pilgrims ready to stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. Now, pilgrims, you probably know some of this, but if people go on pilgrimages, it's a religious journey, okay? So he's acting as if she's a shrine and his lips are two pilgrims that are on the way to the shrine. Basically, he infers straight away, I want to kiss you. Now, Juliet kind of plays along with this. She says, "Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much." So she is flirting back as well, which manly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims do touch, and palm to palm is a holy palmer's kiss. Okay, the palm to palm holding hands is almost like a kiss. And he says, "Have saints not lips and holy palmers too?" And then he says, "Let lips do what hands do." So we just hold hands, let our lips do the same. Then they do kiss for the first time, and that is almost another moment where that's it. Their fate is sealed. There's a few points in this play where you could argue from this point on, there's no going back. And you could argue it's this one here. That the second their lips touch and they kiss, that there's no going back. There's no kind of stopping them now. That's it. Star-crossed lovers take their life. And that's the end of it almost. So, they kiss, and he says, "Thus from my lips, by thine my sin is purged." So, from us touching lips, any sin that I have is purged. Now, the person who purges sin is God, or Jesus in Christianity. And he's saying that she is doing the exact same. Again, really placing her high on that pedestal. They kiss again, and she says, "You kiss by the book." As in, wow, you know, pretty good. Now, final bit from this one is where we learn, or Juliet learns, that he is a Montague. So Juliet goes to the nurse, who is her confidant. Note that she doesn't go to her mother, as we saw in the other scene, but she goes to the nurse, who is kind of her confidant, or kind of advice giver. Now, she asks who he is, and she says, "Go and ask his name." The nurse goes over and asks his name, and if he's married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed. Foreshadowing. So, if he is married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed. Okay, real foreshadowing there. She comes back. His name is Romeo and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy. Yeah? Well, dun, dun, dun. Another key quote here. Juliet, my only love sprung from my only hate. Too early seen unknown and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me that I must love a loathed enemy. So she has that realization. Finally, she knows. Whoa. Because Romeo's known the entire time. He went to a Capulet party. Everyone except him basically was a Capulet. So, you know, he's pretty sure that she's going to be a Capulet. And now she realizes as well. Now you'd assume, okay, they've realized, they both know now. They're not going to go there. You know, there are bigger issues and then just wanting to, you know, be in a relationship, etc. But no, that's not really how it goes. And this is kind of the seed that sows it all. So, with that in mind, think about why does Shakespeare end Act 1 on this scene? Why this one now? Okay? Alright, so if you have any questions, do let me know. You'll want to read the chorus of Act 2, which is just kind of like the prologue, for Act 1 for next time, and I'll see you soon. Bye!
I undid a button to be flirty. And we start flexing in the background.
Oh dear, saying to lock fingers.
Yeah.
That's not funny, man.
Are you dancing? I'm not dancing, I'm Romeo.
We're not even, well,
Tybalt.
we're just kind of hanging around. He's over there looking at Juliet.
And we're just dancing there.
Yeah,
You have to kiss. Let's go for a close up for this.
okay.
There is the fattest pigeon on my neighbour's roof. It's staring at me.
I left like an angry man.
I can't believe you want to kiss me. Okay, yeah. You can do that.
Right.
Where's my drink? Oh, yeah. Okay. We're not kissing.
It's fine.
Do we touch hands?
Yeah.